I see you, Lake Havasu. You crazy.
Last time we were here, it was spring break, and before that, it was Memorial Day.
Little flip cup. Let's go.
Quite a few places all around Lake Havasu that you can dry camp if you want, but we decided to come back here.
Let's go on a boat ride. Victoria broke a slot machine.
Well, you know, but
We actually didn't know there was a downtown area. Are you gonna play us a little ditty? Today we dive head first in Sarah's crack.
But don't worry, Sarah's not a person.
After the trauma of our cross-country road trip, it's kind of like no stone unturned, and part of our upcoming road trip peace of mind is making sure that all of our lug nuts are secured properly. To get that done, we're busting out the Craftsman torque wrench, and we're gonna make sure that these lug nuts are torqued to 90 to 100 foot-pounds. Now, your trailer tires might require a different torque, so make sure you look that up in your owner's manual. Maybe you've never used one of these bad boys before, so quick tutorial for you. From what I've seen, most torque wrenches have a similar setup. What you're gonna do is make sure you go ahead and pull down on this little lever here and then start twisting. You're gonna see some numbers here that represent your torque foot-to-pound ratio, and you're gonna go ahead and get it to the proper one. Again, I'm 90 to 100. Once you get it to the proper setting, you're gonna go ahead and twist this back up, and that will lock it in. Some of these have a drive reverse setting. Mine has a right to left setting. Now that you've got everything set, you can go ahead and get on the lug nuts, and what you're gonna do is hook it up in there and crank it, and once you hear a click, that means you are completely torqued to the proper poundage. I won't show you all 4 tires, but you get the point. We do regularly check our tire pressure, but normally we're doing that when we're filling up at a gas station. However, we have owned this 3-gallon Briggs & Stratton air compressor since we started RV life and rarely bust it out. But I figured might as well get it done before we hit the road tomorrow. Air compressor's pretty straightforward. What we're gonna do is go ahead and hook up the attachment that will fill the tire. Then we're gonna go ahead and get some pressure into the tank, so we'll go ahead and switch this on. Okay, now we've got the tank pressure built up, which is this gauge right here, to about 90 PSI. And what we're gonna do is go over here to the tool pressure, release some of this, and now that we have air coming to the tool, feel it, we're gonna go ahead and fill up this tire. You're gonna wanna look on your tire and find the information on the sidewall that's gonna tell you how much PSI your tire can take while it's cold, and cold meaning that it hasn't been driven for at least 3 hours. In our case, it's more like 3 weeks. Again, we do regularly check our tire pressure, but it's typically at a gas station because it's kind of hard to pull the compressor out of a compartment and move all the stuff around, but this is a good tool to have on you, you know? Filling up nice and smooth, and we'll go ahead and knock out all 4 tires.
We still have some residual trauma from our blowout on our cross-country trip, and it actually sliced one of our brake wires, so that's pretty important. We're gonna fix that before we hit the road.
Before we do anything to fix this problem, let's disconnect all the power, including the battery. When you're disconnecting the battery, negative first.
As you can see, this wire came disconnected from here by one of the little flaps of tires that was just flying from our blowout. So we bought some new caps and we're gonna reconnect it. These caps are held on by squeezing, so I'm just gonna squeeze in the opposite direction and see if I can just pull this off. Ah, there we go. This is missing some of the wires up front, so I'm just gonna snip there. Now I'm just gonna use my tool to strip it a little bit. Aha. Ta-da! One thing to note is we did get the screw caps instead, so we are also going to be taping this down. These work a little different. You literally just screw them on like you would a normal screw, and eventually the wires catch and it helps hold it together. If you have one, now would be a good time to use your multimeter tool to possibly test this once you reconnect your battery. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that this wire actually got pulled through a little bit as well, so I'm just gonna push this up.
Perfect. And now it's not dangling anymore.
But it is loose enough so that if it does require a little play, it should be able to pull out.
Perfect.
So
Yeah.
I think we're ready to hit the road.
If I'm being honest, I'm a little nervous about this road trip, but I feel confident in the welding work that got done. I actually feel safer than we ever have with this frame right now. And we did a ton of preparation. We were good RV owners before this road trip, so we should be all right. Being that it's only a 30-minute trip up the road to Havasu, we're gonna go ahead and fill the fresh tank. Probably about halfway. We're only there for a couple days. That's actually true. It's so nice. We've actually already been twice, and now we're about to take it back to the Craigie Wash, which is on the north side of town in Lake Havasu City. That right there is one of the cool things about coming to Craigie Wash is it's right outside of the Lake Havasu airport, like smaller airport, and a lot of like old school planes flying in and out of here. Found a pretty nice wide open spot about 2 miles into Craigie Wash, so backing her on in. Look at this boss with the backup skills.
As we mentioned before, we have camped here at Craigie Wash, and there's actually quite a few places all around Lake Havasu that you can dry camp if you want, but we decided to come back here because it has the best backdrop and there's plenty of spots
There's
back
a
here.
lot of spots back here.
Not to mention, it is on all of the dry camping lists for Arizona.
It is big rig friendly for the most part, but you do have to be a little careful the further back you get in there.
Yeah, just pay attention to when you stop seeing other big rigs around you, and you should probably turn around.
Yeah.
Now, if you do need some assistance, they actually do have a camp host here at this BLM site. He actually greeted us on the way here, so they do check if you stay here for 14 days.
Yeah. I like it. I like it a lot. So we just rolled up to Rotary Community Park, and this is where we would typically put in our paddle boards or hang out on the beach. And as we rolled up, we realized something very funny. It's spring break.
Yeah, just the beginning of it, so we didn't really realize, but the first two parking lots were packed, so we parked pretty far away. But it's really funny because the last time we were here, it was spring break, and before that, it was Memorial Day.
So we just keep showing up when it's party time.
Let's go.
I see you, Lake Havasu. You crazy. We were not expecting to walk into what we walked into this weekend. We stayed an extra day just because we were having so much fun. We're about to attempt Puppies on Paddle Boards Lake Havasu edition.
The first time that we visited Lake Havasu, we had no idea the party that we were walking into, and we would probably suggest a boat for next time, but we made the most of it on our paddle boards, and the dogs had a really good time too.
Are they eating our dogs anymore?
We did find a really, really cool spot. So now it's time to settle in and celebrate. Cheers to 4 nights of BLM camping.
Woo! We had such a great time the first time in Lake Havasu that we invited our friends Alan and Alyssa to come all the way from Charlotte to come hang out. And guess what? It was spring break.
Sometimes I like to swim, sometimes I don't, but I do this.
Back again for another Memorial Day weekend, and this time we were lucky enough to have our friends Mari and Eugenia drive all the way up from San Diego.
Okay. Man, sun came out. It's about 80 degrees and
It's a good day for people watching.
cheers.
It's not too bad.
No, it doesn't feel that bad. Especially when you get all hot out here.
Yes, that definitely helps.
Pro tip though, if you're gonna walk into the lake, make sure you got water shoes on because it's rocky.
Very rocky.
I will say, it's a little bit crazier than last time we were here for spring break. I don't know if we caught like the tail end of last year.
Honestly, I think it's because Miami said don't come here, and so they all decided to come here.
I heard that on the news. It's packed out here.
Yeah, but there's like hardly any boats, and honestly, I think it's because at this age, all you can actually do is like try to find some booze. Maybe you have an older friend and like lay out on the beach for fun. You definitely can't.
There's
rent a
plenty
boat.
of 21-year-olds in college that can buy their friends booze. You don't need to, it's not like you're 15.
I guess that's right.
But it is kind of hilarious how this channel right here is normally completely packed with boats during Memorial Day. Not spring break though. That right there is as many 25-year-olds as are here. It's spring break.
Oh,
4.
5 boats.
Yeah. That are rentals. Little flip cups. Let's go. This is so wild. We survived getting through that.
Made it through.
We're not doing that again.
No, we're too old for that.
All right, Victoria, it looks like we are yellow trail to the end.
Yellow trail?
Yep.
Let's go.
Today we dive head first in Sarah's Crack.
But don't worry, Sarah's not a person. It's planned for special activities and recreation area.
This place has athletic fields, the rodeo, a dog park, and of course, some hiking trails.
Speaking of, this is the Crack, and it's a 5-mile trail, and it leads all the way out to Lake Havasu.
Professional.
Canyon meter in it.
Oh, careful.
Not the most steady thing, is it?
So when you come out of Sarah's Crack, looks like it smooths out for you a little bit on your way down to the lake. Well, we're about 2.15 in.
See the river.
There it is.
Or the lake.
Yes, lake, definitely a lake.
The lake.
We made it.
We made it.
We can't be hangry, so it's snack time. Well, the hike down was a little bit technical, and I think All Trails considers it a moderate hike. It was pretty easy to get down here. Now we see what it's like to go back up.
Technically, there's a couple of trails that lead out here. We took the yellow trail, which I think is the coolest one. It goes through the canyon, and it's a little bit more technical. You also have the blue trail, which you can make it a whole loop if you want. I think it's a little flatter. And then you have the red trail, which don't take that unless you have a mountain bike.
Light work. Okay, we're wrapping this thing up. That was a fun hike and a good way to start the morning.
Yeah, I would suggest coming out earlier, especially the later the season gets, because it can get really, really hot. But it took us about 2.5 hours, and that's with us stalling a little by the lake, and it was awesome.
Yeah, if you're in Havasu, recommend you come and check it out. Are you gonna play us a little ditty? Little known fact, Victoria knows how to play the piano.
I did play piano as a child. That's cute. I can't actually play anything. Watch.
Few broken keys and really out of tune, but hey, you nailed it.
Thank you. Other fun fact, I'm pretty sure I played that for my piano recital in like 2nd grade.
Oh,
so.
really? Well, we have been to Havasu. We actually didn't know there was a downtown area until Victoria's coworkers spilled the beans on that last week.
Yeah, it's actually on McCulloch Avenue starting at Smoke Tree Avenue down. And it's got a lot of bars, shops, restaurants, you know the deal.
Well, our first shop, Victoria found soap room. Like, it's officially like a room in a store dedicated to soap.
This one.
Eeny, meeny, rosemary, mo.
Rosemary mint.
Oh, mint.
All of these mixes look really good. Like dip mixes.
It's a very cool store, actually.
Was awesome, and they're not lying. It's just a bunch of funky junk.
There is so much cool stuff in there.
But I got this.
Oh, yeah. Those are a bunch of oh, is that what we're doing? Getting that ice cream? All right, we're getting that ice cream, I guess. This, folks, is what happens when you just follow your wife around blindly. You end up eating ice cream at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but it's homemade. All of it's homemade. We're at Scoops. Now, I'm not exactly sure when it happens, but Lake Havasu does have a hot air balloon festival, and I imagine that would probably be pretty cool to go to.
That would be awesome. I'm really glad we got to visit this part of Lake Havasu. It's a whole different area that we just like haven't seen before.
Yeah, and they've got the bars, the shops, and pretty cool murals.
Did you know that the London Bridge is in Lake Havasu? This is the area we were told to visit the first time that we came into town. It's definitely the most touristy area, and it has a ton of shops, restaurant, bars, and hotels.
Here we are, London Bridge. Pretty sure it was some mayor way back that brought it here as like a marketing thing to try to get tourists here, and it worked.
VIP service right here. Thank you so much, man.
No problem.
So these boats right here is what you'll see a lot of on Memorial Day weekend, where people rent these and have big old parties. Hey, let's go on a boat ride.
Let's go. Another tip that I learned from one of the local nurses is that you should definitely take the $4 ferry ride over to the casino, because it apparently has an amazing view of the city.
Yeah, and we're gonna do it one better because we're doing it at sunset.
Besides just a casino, this place has, I think, a hotel and definitely an RV park and its own beach.
It's beachfront, y'all. Like, what is the deal here?
And
Maybe
an
we should have stayed
amazing
at the casino.
I know. itself, or like you can choose it.
Well, that was interesting because we just donated $50 to Havasu Landing Casino and Victoria broke a slot machine.
Well, you know, but like it was all automated, so it's definitely all rigged. No skill, so what do you expect?
It was, yeah, not good. It wasn't good. We came, we saw, we lost, and now it's time to head back on the ferry and actually get a good look at Havasu and the lights. Okay, another Lake Havasu adventure in the books. It was a fun one, a little bit different than our previous experiences, but a little bit of the same with that spring break activity yesterday for sure.
Actually, the reason we accepted the position in Parker is because we knew that Lake Havasu was right up the street, and we were attempting to show you that it's not just a party city, even though we still party.
Yeah.
But you know, there's lots of other things to do. You got the hiking, boating, kayaking.
Yeah,
everything.
lots of stuff to do. And of course, we love free camping, so it was cool to come back to our first boondocking spot ever, the Craigie Wash, and you know, we really proved to ourselves that the frame's gonna hold up.
And that's good news because we have a big trip planned next week while we try to find our first Arizona hot spring. So make sure you check out our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok at Project RV Living Lost to keep up to date with all of our activities, and we will catch you next week. Bye.